Hi, Robs. I'm trying to get going. Hey, everybody. Hi, Robs. Hi, Living Garbage. I love that one. Happy Wine Wednesday to you all. We're switching it up with some Chardonnay tonight. I'm actually not feeling so hot. So I already got a message from Ray, who was pretty upset that we weren't live last week and we're running late this week. I all I can do is apologize, guys. I've asked quite a few people if they would help in times that I'm not feeling well or that I'm busy with kids or whatever, because I know that a lot of you really count on and really like this Wine Wednesday. Um, and I certainly don't mean to disappoint anybody, you guys. If I could, if I could do a better job, I would. Let's just leave it there. And so, again, I'm going to just shout out and say that if any of the mods or if anyone's interested in becoming a mod that would like to run Wine Wednesday on days that I cannot or even start it. Oh no, no, it's okay. I do feel terrible, when things don't work out the way that I wish that they would. Um, and I know, like I said, that people count on this, so but I'm human, guys. You know what I'm saying? So if anyone is interested in starting Wine Wednesday or in holding Wine Wednesday on some days that I cannot do it, I am more than willing to, show you how to do it and have you come in and we had even set it up to where Lucy and Dan could possibly start and Salty could actually start the stream on times that I was running late or something, and we just haven't been able to get it done. I know everybody's so busy, and unfortunately, so am I. So I'm sorry. I'm here. Happy Wine Wednesday. Uh, Putting my sickness aside and just showing up, but because I love all of you and I'm so glad that you do come and spend time with me on Wednesdays. And I really, truly hope that someday, if someone has a question or problem or wants to share something, that they're going to be able to. We're still I don't even want to sip the wine. My belly's not feeling good, but I'm going to because it's Wine Wednesday. All right. So, plus Chardonnay's not really my thing, but it's what I had. All right. So, anyways, oh, another little fun. Hi, Edson. How are you? Another little fun announcement. In case you see this and wonder what's going on, my hand is actually blue. My nails are dyed blue. We did a little fun experiment on my daughter's hairs, and the glove was not efficient, and therefore I now have blue hands. And they're gonna stick. Come show your hair real quick. She does have very cute blue hair, but my hand is blue. So good times. Anyhow, how are you guys? Rob's, it's been a while, couple weeks. So if you want to tell me where you're at with your tanks and how family life's going, please feel free. And Edson, here, I'll try to put up the link, guys, as per usual. Don't know if you'll be able to get in on a phone or whatnot, but I can at least put it up. Hang on just a second. But yeah, I just wanted to say, because I'm sure that I did reply to Ray's message, and again, I do apologize. Um, it's not on purpose. I never intentionally mean to keep anybody waiting or leave anybody hanging. It's just sometimes things don't work out. I did put up a message last week, but it was pretty late, so apologize. That's all I can do. I try, and I know I get a lot of messages that a lot of people really enjoy Wine Wednesday, so I keep trying to make it happen. And I'll take any help or suggestions that you guys have. Please, please feel free. I want this to be something for all of us and that we can all enjoy. All right, so I can't see what you're saying for a second, guys, because I am trying to put up the link. So give me just 1 second. And then, yeah, let me know in the comments how you guys all are, or join in if you feel like it. Didn't really have a topic. As I said, I wasn't even sure I was going to be able to do it tonight because I just really, I'm not doing too well. But anyhow, cute, Tanya. Okay, so We're getting there. We're getting there. And Edson, I think you were trying to. No, that's fine, Robs. No problem. If you can't join, I'm honestly, guys, I'm not even planning on staying live very long. I just wanted to hop on in case anybody was waiting or if anybody wanted to share or had a question. That's the main goal is Seahorse questions. But it's just it's gotten kind of slow lately. We've got Dan working 2 jobs. Lucy's in a place where internet connection doesn't work. So we will keep showing up, and at some point we'll get it better. I reached out to a few different people to come in and share things about different frozen foods, and I had a good response from them, but then I haven't heard back. So I'll keep trying to get some experts in here, guys, but all I can do is ask how that goes. But we have fun anyways, right? Okay, so whoops, there is the link. You can feel free to try to join. If it doesn't work, let me know, and I can try to put up a, try to make a. Oh, I can't even think tonight, guys. I can try to make a brain gone. I can try to make a link with Bitly. If the link that I put up does not work, just let me know. Nintendo Switch. You're kind of young. We don't care. This is family friendly. We do our best not to use any words that would not be acceptable to youngins. And yeah, you're more than welcome here. We typically talk seahorses. We usually have quite a few people who keep seahorses come. We drink some wine. That's the only thing that's, maybe not good for young folks, but you are more than welcome as long as, you don't mind watching me drink wine. And we just, well, see, I was about to curse now. We just kind of chit chat with each other, keep up with each other, and share tips, tricks, secrets about keeping seahorses. And sometimes we just talk about whatever we want to talk about, that kind of thing. So, okay, does anyone else here? Okay, for example, I'm going to ask a very odd question. And it's not very much seahorse related, but the bottom line is it's driving me absolutely insane. Okay, I am like, I try to be extremely clean, my house is clean, etc. But this year, we have just gotten gnats like unbelievable. I have tried every trick to get rid of these things, and I think that they're gone, and then all of a sudden I'm like this in a video because there's one there. It's driving me insane. So I'll take any of your guys' tips, tricks, anything to get rid of gnats. I mean, we don't have fruit out. We don't have anything like that. And I don't know if it's like the area that I live in, because it's everywhere. Every person I know that lives anywhere in my state is like complaining about this because it's just so bad this year. So yeah, just random, but if you see me going like this, apologies, and help me fix it, y'all. Tell me what to do. And let's see, Nintendo Switch, you only have a beta fish, but you still like the fish community. Awesome. We love having you. We often have reef dudes and other people hop on when they're done with their streams or whatever. We've had quite a few YouTube, famous YouTube people on here. Inappropriate reefers kind of jumped in a few times, and so very, 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 very great fish community people come up in here, and we welcome you with open arms. We love betas too. Feel free to tell us. Feel free to tell us about your aquarium, how you keep your beta fish. We try really hard not to have any kind of judgment up in here, so you won't get beat up because we know everybody does things differently. We do try to help people with the seahorses because there is so much bad information out there, so we try to share what's really worked for us. And we, like Dan's a breeder, so he comes in and shares kind of an expert opinion. But I've learned things just from you guys, sharing whatever you do, and it really helps me quite often. So anyhow, yeah, so there, I put the link up. If anybody wants to join, feel free. If not, then I'll ramble for a bit. My phone keeps going off, sorry. And I'll ramble a bit and then I'll sign off. But so if you guys have anything to share, anything you guys do want to talk about, please feel free to let me know. I'm gonna sip on some wine and try to. I think red wine is supposed to make your stomach feel better, but I didn't have any, so you know. And let's see, what can I talk about seahorses? I was looking through actually some of the groups yesterday to try to find some interesting topics that people have, been discussing lately, like questions that I see. But it just seems to typically be the same questions most of the time. So, hi, Luann, welcome. We've got all these new folks here tonight. Unfortunately, I don't have a great topic, so we're just chit chatting and getting together tonight. But if you want to share what you've got going on, or if you want to join, feel free and let me know about you. Let's see. It says you don't have money, but you'd love tips on making your tank look more professional. Sure. Well, let us know what kind of aquarium you've got set up. For instance, let's see. I've got a reef tank, I've got seahorse tanks, but I've done freshwater fish before. I had a planted discus tank. I typically do put sumps on all of my tanks because it just helps make less maintenance and lets me put the equipment and stuff into the sump, so it's not, taking up any space in the tank where, I can put other pretty things. So I usually use sumps, but we can talk equipment or anything like that. Living Garbage says live plants, absolutely, absolutely. In a beta tank, I've kept a beta one time in my life, and it was many, many years ago, and I was not doing it properly. I can tell you that because it was probably it was in a smaller tank, likely too small. Now that I've seen some other people and have a few friends that are in the beta community, or beta. Do you say it beta or beta? I say it beta. Okay, anyways, in that community, I've learned quite a bit that, you said yours isn't a 5-gallon tank. I think, like I said, I'm not an expert, guys, but I think that's, okay for a beta. I know a lot of people prefer like a 10-gallon. I've seen many people put betas into aquariums that actually have sumps, and the whole 9 yards. But I've also seen people, I just don't know enough to really comment. But very cool. And Loyanne has a dwarf tank cycling. Ooh, cool. A 7.5. I want to know, I don't think I've ever heard of that. Is it like an all-in-one? I've never seen. Loyanne has a dwarf tank cycling. Who jumped in? Whoa. A 7.5. I want to know. Okay, let's see what's going on here now. Hi. Hey, Edson. Welcome. But do me a favor. You gotta mute YouTube. Can you mute YouTube for me? What's going on there? Hi. Hey, Edson. Welcome. But do me a favor. Hang on. You gotta mute YouTube, bud. Did you do it? Can you hear me, Edson? Oh. All right. Well, Edson has tried to join. Welcome, Edson. Hi. Okay. Sorry, I was trying to pay attention to the questions, and then Edson jumped in. Welcome, Edson. I think you have YouTube muted now. If you want to pipe in, feel free. How are you? I'm not sure if you can hear me right. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. So check your audio.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Welcome. How are you?
All right, thank you. Very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. How I see a little one on your lap. Very cool.
Yeah, Christian, say hi. He just had his shower.
Oh.
Say hi. Christian, say hi. Say.
He said, I'm busy, Dad. Come on, man. How are your tanks? How are your seahorses? What's going on?
They're good. They're very good, thank you. I moved them downstairs last week, and they are in the refugium, and they're doing pretty good. They're happy.
That's awesome.
I just I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to stay here because the battery in this laptop it's old. It's already going down, and I gotta put this little one to bed soon too. But I just wanted to touch bases with the ozone that we talked about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I remember you were interested, but then it was late and it didn't work for my phone.
sure.
So I don't know if you have any questions or anything like that because it seemed like
Remind
you were not really
remind me what we were discussing. What were you sharing?
about the ozone dosing.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. You like it, right? Tell me how you do your ozone dosing.
So it's a machine,
Mm-hmm.
and you can buy this one machine from BRS. It's pretty decent price, and it has an ORP probe in it. So that's one of the safety uh, fail safe that it has. So if the ORP reaches a certain number, it shuts off. But I'm not even dosing limits. I'm dosing about 0.5% of what I could dose to the tank. So that's my first fail safe, and that goes straight to the skimmer, and then all the water goes through the skimmer, and I think it's Dan that I mentioned last week. Lack of better term, it basically just pops out of existence a lot of pigments and organics that are floating in the water.
Very
The
cool.
reason I went with that is because since I'm trying to run the reef and the seahorses in the same tank, uh, you know how lousy eaters the seahorses are. So there's a lot of stuff in the water,
Sure.
and that's the reason why I went that route. And I'm also doing the UV sterilizer in the system,
Very
and
cool.
so far I'm liking it. Um,
Have you noticed a huge difference since you started using both?
well, yes, I've been battling algae for a while
Mm.
and cyano, and not huge problems, but present, and it's just annoying, and it just seems like the battle is going my way. That's the
Nice.
best and easiest that I can put it.
And those are the only
Yep.
two things that you did is add UV sterilization and ozone?
Pretty much in the typical physical removal. I try to siphon as much of it as possible, but I've been doing that for a while, um,
Yeah.
and and also the orange spot filefish. Do you remember that I mentioned that?
Yeah.
So when I first mentioned it, I had just gotten it, and he was in quarantine. So he's now in the main system, and he's eating pellets. So
Wow.
that's pretty exciting. I always loved that fish, and I just love to see these difficult fish like the mandarins and now the orange spotted to be able to be fully trained. So I'm excited about that.
No kidding. How did you get him to eat pellets or was he already?
Well, I did follow a lot of Matt Peterson's protocols.
Right.
Basically, when I didn't, I failed. So I learned my lesson. And you have to quarantine them.
Right.
And when I did it the first time that I failed, it was something that seemed to be a small detail. He said that he wanted to put um, every fish in a separate quarantine tank, and I had a pair couple and
Hmm.
a mated pair. And I figured, well, since they're a mated pair, it's okay to put them in the same tank. But no, I was wrong.
Ah.
Um,
I would probably have assumed the same thing, so don't feel too bad. But Matt
Here's the other
Matt
one.
is always
Somebody
right.
want to say hello?
Always. Hello.
Hi.
How are you? Do you enjoy the seahorses and all the fish stuff, or are you not into it? Do you like the fish?
Yeah,
That's how
I
my
mean, I don't.
my girls are the same way. They're like, yeah, I like it, but not if I've got to clean it, not if I got to help. But well, I'm so glad you came to say hi. Awesome. Um,
All right.
Edson,
Need
what?
something?
Oh,
Oh,
and
sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. And anybody, guys, anybody talking in the comments, feel free to chit chat with one another. And if any questions that I don't see while we're talking, I will answer when once we're done. I just want to don't. I know Edson's not going to have much time with this, so I'm asking anything I can. If you in the comments have any questions about ozone or anything that we're discussing, please feel free to ask away. So The other thing, so you're saying, so you're enjoying the, oh, I'm sorry. I got myself all tongue twisted. I'm telling you, I'm not doing too well tonight. But anyways, yeah, as I was saying, Matt's always right. I completely agree that following his instruction will get you where you want to be. So the trick basically was quarantining them all separately. And then, I mean, was there any process that you had to go through to get them to eat
Oh,
pellet or?
yes. Well, basically, they go into a quarantine tank, and you cover at least three of the sides so that they don't get spooked by you. Um, and then basically, I throw everything that I have at him to see what he'll go for.
Gotcha.
And hopefully, they'll go from one thing, and then you can start chaining the foods one to the next. And then, it varies with every specimen what they're gonna grab first. What's important is that they grab something. And in
Right.
the case of the orange spotted filefish, you also got to be willing to sacrifice. They have the sacrificial SPS coral. You have to be committed to that. Um,
Yeah.
Kim, bless you. Kim, I'm sorry about that. So that's your insurance policy. So I have a local place that I can acquire SPS corals for a decent price and reliability. So that's your fail safe until you get them to eat. And
Uh,
then when he started grabbing flakes, and then from flakes you started mixing pellets, and then I started mixing three different types of pellets, and from there I went to just pellets, and what I'm doing now is I'm using three automatic auto feeders, and
wow.
they dispense a very tiny. Well, that's the other thing about this fish that's very particular. He has a super fast metabolism.
Uh-huh.
So where even mandarins I can get away with feeding twice a day, you know,
Hmm.
this fish will just not survive like that. He
Wow.
needs to have a point. I had three auto feeders dispensing. It's not much. Like if you think dispensing a lot of food is really not. I use tape to close most of the dispenser, so
Hmm.
they only drop in maybe about five small of the smallest pellets. But I had one dispensing food and every hour for 12 hours of the day, and
Wow.
that's how you get them. And now I'm down to two feeders, and they dispense. He gets about 8 meals. Plus, whenever I walk by the tank, I just give him extra food, and he's always happy to eat it.
Oh, of
So
course.
there are just very particular circumstances to this one fish that they don't apply to most fish, and I think that's why it's such a the failure rate with this species is so high.
Right.
Because we don't, we thinking of other fish when we try to keep them in captivity, but we just don't do well.
So
But
so has this guy been more challenging? Like, because a lot of people do like these exotic types of fish, and I couldn't agree with you more that people need to be willing to take the steps to actually learn what the particular fish needs and follow those procedures in order to keep it healthy and happy and alive. Would you say that the orange? You said it's an orange spotted filefish. Is that what it's called?
yes,
Okay.
orange spotted fish.
And it is, would you say that it's have been a more challenging situation than seahorses by far?
Oh, by all means, yeah,
Really?
because the seahorses came eating mysids,
Right,
from Hawaii, from Ocean Rider.
right.
So even though uh, they were relatively easy, I would say. You know, oh, mama's here.
No,
Um,
I love hearing that because many people think that they're so challenging and difficult. I couldn't agree more.
but
Captive bred seahorses are easy. But go on.
yes, they that by 10 times fold. It's a lot harder to keep this fish. I would say even mandarins may be even harder to keep seahorses. It just, as long as they are captive bred and they're eating, they're easy. It's the tank what they need. No, no. But no, yeah, absolutely. This fish is way harder than seahorses.
And so the fish is now through the process and in the actual aquarium, or is it still in quarantine?
He is, yes. Well, he went into the main display. But I just like the seahorses. it doesn't. He doesn't seem very happy in a high traffic area.
Mm.
And at the beginning, what I did is I covered one side of the peninsula tank to give him a little shelter. But even then, he wasn't doing that great. So I ended up moving him downstairs with the seahorses, and he's doing the best down there. Because basically nobody bothers him there except for me
Sure.
that I come by, and when I come by, I give him food, so he's cool.
Yeah, that's another consideration for anyone considering keeping these very rare fish is that, is if you're getting them for yourself because you just really enjoy caring for them or breeding or I'm sure Matt was probably breeding them, whatever. But if you're looking for a fish that's going to be a showpiece, it's typically not these rare exotics because they don't like it. You're right. They don't like high
It's not.
traffic.
It's it's a gorgeous animal. It's I would compare it in beauty to the mandarins, which disputedly some people they say the most beautiful fish. They're just as beautiful, but they just it's something that's gonna be for your own eyes. It's
Yeah.
not because like today we have visits. We have some visitors that came with my wife. They asked me about the seahorses, but the seahorses are sleeping in the downstairs in the basement, so
Yeah.
they're they're reserved for us. You know,
Uh-huh. It's
and
harsh.
of course they heard my wife talk about the seahorses, so they walk in the house. They're like, "Where are the seahorses?"
Right. Yep, I know.
Next to the beautiful fish that nobody's gonna see.
See, I mean, and I do have very happy and friendly seahorses that tend to not mind high traffic area, and so I have my biggest seahorse tank right in my front room where you walk in the door, and man, that's everybody straight to that tank. And where are the seahorses? So I hear you, but it's good. I think it's amazing and really great that you care more about their environment and keeping them happy than making them a showpiece. I think that's really excellent. Bravo.
Well,
Um,
I was their coloration was always a hint that they weren't the happiest.
right.
Now that I moved it downstairs, one of them is not red, like like a Ferrari red, but he's a reddish color, and the female is fat, really nice, fat, white and brown, and they just seem to do better. And I don't know what your circumstances are, but at least I had them in the living room where the
Sure.
TV is and where the light is on at night, plus whatever their light cycle was. So
Yeah, no,
you
you
know,
made the right choice for sure. Yeah, I think it does depend on the species, the particular seahorses, just what they're used to, what they like, if they're skittish or not. And I think it's really cool that you were observant enough to realize what was going on and care enough to fix the problem. So I just can't say anything but bravo. And I'm so happy that they're happy. That's so cool. And
yeah.
I didn't mean to get off topic. If I looking, I didn't see any questions. I don't even have Facebook up. I didn't see any questions about ozone. But yeah, if there's anything else you think to tell us, feel free. And
Sure.
with the spotted filefish, I just wanted to say really quickly two last questions. First of all, please shoot me a picture or something if you
Well,
can,
absolutely,
because I'd
absolutely. I,
love to
I
see
do
it.
have a question for you off topic too. Remind me of that.
Okay, and then the final question was just have you? I know now are the spotted filefish or I'm thinking filefish. Do they eat aptasia too, or is that only a?
No, they don't.
Okay,
No, these are corallivores.
okay, okay. So literally, that's what you meant. You were buying SPS to feed to them until you got them on the
Yes.
pellets.
They eat SPS, specifically Millipora. So
Wow, wow. Well, bravo, getting them on pellets. Yeah, I can't wait to see them. And what was your question? What were you going to ask?
okay, I remember you mentioned that you were able to get huge gorgonians from somebody in Florida. Is that
Right.
something that is still available, or if you can shoot me information in my email
I
if you
will.
still have it?
I will say, of course, I still have your email, and I will say off the bat for sure that Gulf Coast Ecosystems does sell. That's where I honestly got most of my gorgonians, my big gorgonians. However, just keep in mind, everyone and anyone who hears this, that they are collected. They do their best to quarantine them in their facility and everything, but they are wild collected. So, just that risk is there.
Right.
Just saying it. But
Yeah.
I never had
Totally.
any problems with any of the gorgonians except for maybe an aptasia or, something like that. But if you quarantine the gorgonians and watch for that stuff and feed so that any aptasia will come out, then anyways, I don't want to go into too many details, but I will add. There was a gentleman on a few weeks ago who was actually talking about someone he knew personally and had dealt with that sells out of Florida. So I do know who you're talking about, but I don't remember the name. So I will shoot it to you. I will find it and shoot it to you. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then once I get that email, because I sent you an email, but I never got a reply, so I don't know if that's if that's a current email address that you have.
It was probably that
Um,
I haven't kept up very good with anything this past few weeks. I haven't been feeling good, and
okay. All right.
but I will
That's fine.
check, and if not, then I'll send it to you on Messenger or something.
Okay,
I'll get it to
awesome.
you.
So real quick, as far as ozone, because my battery, it is old computer,
Sure.
so 32% already. Um, so what ozone does is it makes water very clear.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that there's not gonna be particles in there, like larger particles, but it does have an effect on the water that it's similar to carbon and how it affects the 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 light penetration in
Okay.
water, except that carbon runs out quickly, and unless you're going to be changing it every weekly, and it's also not consistent,
Sure.
as opposed to ozone where it's on a cycle, or you dose in a specific amount so you can maintain that water clarity.
Gotcha.
And you wouldn't think of how yellowish our water is unless you test it. Somebody on YouTube did that before implementing the ozone, where they put the water in a white bucket, water from the aquarium, and then freshly mixed water, salt water,
Mm.
and you can see the difference in it.
Oh, I
So
believe
ozone
it.
makes that yellowish pigmentation go away, and it allows the light to penetrate quickly, and through the water.
Mhm.
And then at at certain times, it almost looks like the fish are just floating in the air. Just it's very cool. It's very cool. And the thing is, because of the way the seahorses eat, it's necessary, because a lot of
Sure.
this byproduct that the seahorses put back in the water, and it just deteriorates in there. It oxidates all of that organics. And
That's
then of course
awesome.
you do gotta do water changes, because this stuff, it's in there in different forms that are less harmful, but still in there. So you do need to do water changes to get rid of that. So it's not like you get out of water changes.
Gotcha.
You can reduce them, but you still need to do them.
And really quick with the
Yeah, go ahead.
with the ozone, I was just curious because I've never even like seen the machine or the dosing or any of it. I've seen videos, but I've not seen it in person. And so, how often will you have to replace? Like, it's really cool that I know when Kevin came in, he was talking about how it's beneficial for aquariums, but most home aquarists don't use it. Now you're using it, and you said that it's cost effective and not too and pretty reasonable from BRS. So I'm curious, like, do you have to replace it very often or?
No, no, because it creates ozone with electricity.
Oh, okay. So literally, there's nothing
Um,
you're not really dosing per se. It's just the machine shooting this created
you are
stuff. It's
you
hard
are
to
dosing,
understand.
but I know. Okay, all right. So no, I know where you're coming from. All right, I just plugged this into a wall. Just the lighting is not the best.
Okay.
Okay, so you are dosing because you're dosing the tank with this element, and which is a gas, basically.
Okay.
The machine makes ozone out of oxygen. It goes
Ah,
through a corona discharger, which is like a type of circle with electricity that goes through it, and then through discharges of electricity, it creates ozone out of oxygen.
I get it
It
now.
makes ozone is made out of three molecules as opposed to oxygen. So in the former ozone, it goes into the skimmer, and then the skimmer mixes it with the water, and then it goes back from ozone back into oxygen. But in that process, that third molecule binds itself to organic materials. And when it does that, they do something they call oxidation, which is it basically like rusted, not rusted out, but it oxidizes the organics, and it just they stop being in the way that they were present in the tank. I don't know if I did a good job on that or not.
No, you did. And
So
Reef Dudes is, hi, Reef Dudes. Stop laughing at me. I'm a little slow on the draw. Everybody who probably already knows this stuff, but I just never had any experience with it. And it took 3 different people and now Edson to finally get me to understand what it is. I get it now, though. I really do. So, and I think it's, I mean, isn't science cool, is all I got to say. Isn't it amazing that,
it is pretty cool that we can do this in our homes because it's that's the part that I find cool. It's science applied, and there's to your normal life, and something they can benefit from. The other thing is you do need. There's a couple of safety concerns. One of them is the ozone that may be released into the room when you dose it, and ozone byproducts that are after the oxidation in the water. So basically, you use carbon where the outlet of the skimmer is. So because as soon as the ozone touches anything, if it didn't touch water molecules in the skimmer, when it touches any carbon, when it's released, it just becomes oxygen again. And as far as going in the water, you also run the water to carbon. And once again, once it touches the carbon, then it becomes oxygen again. So you begin with oxygen, the machine converts that into ozone. When it touches the water and the molecules in the water, it goes back to oxygen and it oxidizes
wow.
organics in the water. And you end up with a clear tank. Also, if there's any spores, bacteria, or viruses in the water, it just puffs it out.
That's awesome.
They're just gone. So it will help you with health overall of a tank. If you have tanks, or in the case of the seahorses, well, I think one, maybe two of the seahorses had those little bubbles in their tails.
Oh, really?
Those are gone.
Wow.
Those are gone, and I didn't even treat them. There's two things I did is I started using the chiller and during the summer, but those were still present. It was after the ozone and the UV that they disappeared on their own.
Now,
They weren't bad, but they were there.
that does not surprise me, but that is really interesting. So anyone who sees this later and is experiencing any issues with tail bubbles, man, that's really cool that it helped you solve that problem, because that's one of the worst things to deal with. I hate when that happens. So
Right. I don't. Let me just be a word of caution. I didn't run scientific test, so I can't
sure.
say, that's how it happened, and it happened in that period of time. Because that was just a byproduct of me implementing. It was just an observation that after implementing it,
Sure.
that happened, but it's there.
I know.
Yeah.
Word of warning. Obviously, he's not guaranteeing anything. Neither am I. We're just sharing experiences here. But I believe that was it without a doubt, because that organics is usually the fault of most of these problems. And since you're zapping it. And especially with UV too. UV always helps everything, in my opinion. I love UV. So I'll probably end up loving ozone once now that I know how it works. And I'm going to go check it out for sure, because that's really, I might do some little testing with that myself, because that sounds really interesting. And did I interrupt? Was there anything else you wanted to tell us about it?
No, I was rushing because of the battery thing, but
Okay.
I'm okay. I plugged it in. So we have a couple, and my wife just walked in there, so she's got the kids now.
Okay.
Um, so I have a couple more minutes. Let's see. Everything's good. I like how it works. I see a difference. I think it's worth it. The machine that I got, of course, you can go very expensive machines, but the machine that I got, the machine Pro, the Pro was in the $300 range.
Hmm.
So normally it becomes very expensive and very problematic because you need to run it with a controller that has an ORP port that can control that. But this
Mm.
one unit comes with an ORP built-in monitor,
Oh, wow.
and so yeah, for that price. So the only limiting factor is that it only doses about 100 milliliters of ozone. So you're probably good up to maybe 150-gallon tank.
Mm.
Anything above that, the machine will be a little um, underrated. Right now, I'm dosing 50 milliliters and I have about 110 gallons, 120 gallons in the system.
That's
And
that's a that's a good question. So if you had a smaller tank, say, um, would you can adjust how much?
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It has the machine has two knobs, and you can adjust, and it has a reader, a meter reader, and it will tell you how much you're dosing, and it's just a mechanical analog knob that you can up and down, and then on the other side you have the ORP probe that you can tell it how much ORP you want in the water before it shuts off. So
Gotcha.
yeah, you can definitely adjust what you want. At some point when I was doing maintenance on a tank and there was a lot of stuff floating around, I just bumped it up to 100 for the little time until the water cleared out, and then I went back to 50, and
Gotcha.
that's what I do. So I do 50 for 12 hours, I think, 12 hours and 12 hours off, because I do want to leave something in the water for the SPS and
Right.
the feeders and all the other stuff. I don't want to,
Eh,
and then also the down you will see problems if you overdose it.
that's
So
what.
my
Yeah,
my first
sorry, Reef Dudes has actually commented that it's better to run less than too much.
yes.
I'm interested, Reef Dudes. Do you? If I think you said you do use ozone. What's your how much do you run on your tank and all of that? Feel free to comment or jump in or whatever. There's a link up there somewhere. But if you're busy, it's cool. Just wanted to say hi. All right, now I'm done interrupting. Go ahead. What were you gonna say? Go ahead, Edson. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Were you still talking? I felt.
No, I'm lost because I have you on one screen, but then I didn't see myself, and it looked kind of strange because I have the computers
I hear
a
you.
little weird.
Very cool. Well, he said
Like that.
he does 25 milligrams, right? Is it milligram? Yeah.
Milliliters, maybe.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. He has mg/h. I'm so not science, you guys. All right. 4 to 5 hours a night. 160-gallon tank. Very cool. Very cool. I'm
That's actually
really
a little
interested.
less than I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, and one other thing I was going to ask is for anyone who does use it, this question applies, especially you, Edson. But since you made the comment that you wanted to leave a little bit in the water for the SPS, that makes perfect sense to me. I know that people like Reef Dudes, overfeed like crazy, right? Or some people, I shouldn't use his name. Many people will overfeed to compensate and whatever, do their own kind of cycle, how what they put in is what the I can't even talk today. What they put in the tank is what feeds the coral and fish and etc. And then it's just all gone because of the maintenance and etc. So my question is, I know that when I used hydrogen peroxide as a cleanup method in my reef tank, one of the problems that I had is that it cleared the water so much, so quickly, that literally some of my corals that were way up high started getting, bleached. They were getting, the light was too much because it was so cleared so quickly. Did you have any kind of problems with that, where it cleared the water so quickly that you had to maybe move stuff down or anything, or no?
No, because I kind of like um, got myself ahead of the game. I
Mm,
started doing just 10 milliliters. No, this is milliliters. I started dosing at 10 and I went to 15, 20, 25, 30. So I slowly got myself to 50 and then I just kept it steady there. So I didn't dose a large amount from the get go because I was, it's in the warnings that you shouldn't do it.
gotcha.
So I didn't run into that problem. And because it's something that's electronic and programmable, then it's a consistent schedule. So you don't have the problem of the carbon that you put carbon in there, it clears up the water, and then it degrades quickly
Right.
too. So you don't have that up and down situation where the water clarity it varies, and
Now,
that's where the corals I think run into problems or anything else.
so what you said made perfect sense. So you start low, work up gradual until you get to the position that you like, clear water, etc. And then my only other question I can think of is, do you have to recalibrate these readers ever, or do you have to buy any kind of do you have to replace the probes or anything like that? Is there any
Um, the
idea on how
the
long?
the probes you probably need to replace. Like I said, part of the probe is like if you were running borderline of with I that's a good question. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be at least good 6 months to a year. I can
Gotcha.
check with them.
Yeah.
Uh, Probably not. It's probably not a big spending factor. Let me put it to you that way.
Gotcha.
Um,
It
does
sounds
like
worth it. I was just curious because that's one of the mistakes that I always make is I buy something and then I don't pay enough attention to when it needs to be replaced or updated or whatever, and then I make a mess. So I was
right,
just curious.
right. Well, the machine is an electronic machine, so
Right.
it
I
should
I get it.
last
I still,
2 years.
if you've got to
And
calibrate or something, do you have to calibrate it or is it just done for you?
no, it comes out of the box. I'm pretty sure that the probe is probably use and throw when you're ready to throw it. It's a good question. I gotta look into that. But
Okay,
like
no
I said,
biggie.
my first line of defense is I'm dosing less than half of what I could be dosing.
Right.
What's recommended for that volume of water. So that's my very first line of defense. Uh, and then on top of that, I'm only dosing 12 hours of the day.
Sure.
So that puts another layer of safety. Then the carbon is the third layer of safety,
Sure.
not to release ozone into the room which is also in my basement, so nobody is there and the windows are open. So that's another layer of safety because it is something to consider. The safety. It's ozone can be harmful to people, animals, and the fish. So you shouldn't use it without being very aware of all the factors involved.
And I wasn't. So, what are what is the big threat? Like, if it gets into the
Well,
air, then it
just
hurts
like
us?
just, just like it zaps the bacteria, viruses, and everything, all the organics, if you inhale it,
Oh,
it will
shit.
send oxidation to your body.
Ooh.
Now, ozone is present. Ozone smells like thunderstorm. If you ever have like lighting hit anytime anywhere near you are, that wet dirt smell that like storm smell, that's ozone.
Hmm.
It's produced in nature by lighting. Um, and so it's you're not gonna drop dead if you smell it,
Right.
but it's not good. And in the water, if you overdose it, you could the skin of the fish you could literally fall off
Oh,
and so the important thing is that it's in contact with the water, it kills the stuff in the water, then it becomes oxygen again, so that it has enough contact time, and you're dosing in a small amount that it will make contact with the water within the skimmer. That's where it's safe. Then the water goes back into the tank as regular water, just without the organics, and then the oxygen that gets released from the top of the skimmer goes back into the room as oxygen. That's the key to safety.
Gotcha.
Of course, if you completely overdose the amount of ozone, then excess ozone will be released into the room and will be released into the water, and
Mm-hmm.
it could eventually touch the fish and harm them.
Wow. Well, I mean, thank you for sharing that because if I or anyone watching this tries this, that's great that you've said that. I'm sure I would have read it in researching, but very very good information that we should be aware of and watch out for. Thank you to Reef Dudes for your comments in the comment section. It has a quick half life, so it doesn't last long. Um, Not good for your lungs to inhale, and more so for pets and kids, which is why you always advise less is more. Gotcha. And there's a pet right there. He looks healthy.
Yeah.
What a
Albert, you
cutie.
want to say hi? Yeah.
Hello. Oh, we
This is
love.
Albert.
It's what? What's his name?
Albert.
Albert. Hello, Albert. I love dogs. I can't have dogs where I'm living right now, so I'm jealous of all your pretty pups. I swear. Oh, everybody seems to have such beautiful dogs. So friendly. But very cool. Well, I really appreciate you sharing all this information with us, and I'm excited to see your orange spotted filefish. That's just so
Oh
cool.
yeah. So I'll email you a picture of it. Okay.
Yes, please do. And
And with that said, I'm gonna have to go check with the kids to make sure the wife is okay with them.
sure. Well, no, I appreciate you jumping in. Thank you so much for stopping in and sharing all this
All
great
right.
information with us. I'll see you next
Listen,
time.
yeah, see you and appreciate the effort.
Okay.
We missed you last week, and we understand that life is life. And trust me, we know. So nobody has any, no one has anything to say. We just appreciate it, and feel better and take care of priorities. Feel better, take care of the family, and we'll be here.
I appreciate you guys so much, and yeah, you. For the record, you guys are very much a priority to me. I love doing this, and I love getting together with you guys weekly. I just always feel bad if something goes wrong. But thank you for saying that. All that I appreciate you. Now you go take care of your priorities.
All right,
All right, bye. All right.
bye. Good night.
Good night. Okay, guys. Let's see. Okay, so if anybody else has anything to discuss, Reef Dudes, if you want to jump in, I know you joined kind of late. I'm not feeling very well tonight, so and I got beat up in a message because of the fact that I wasn't on last week and I was late this week. So I did a big apology at the beginning. And I showed up, but I'm really feeling terrible. I'm glad I did get to stream tonight, though, guys, because of all this great information that Edson shared. And if anyone, I'm going to go through the comments really quickly and just see if there's any questions that I missed while we were talking. But otherwise, anyone can feel free to use the link and jump in. And if not, I'll probably call it here in just a second if nobody has any questions or things they want to talk about on Wine Wednesday. See, I can try to be cheerful. All right. Yeah, Chardonnay's not my thing either, I gotta say. Okay. And if Jessica Stam was watching this, she'd be like, get the Pinot Grigio. I'm just not, I've turned into a full-fledged red wine drinker for sure. I like my Merlot and Pinot Noir and Pinot Grigio. No, Pinot Grigio's white. Okay, yeah. I gotta be done for the night. All right, anyways. So let's see. Any questions that I missed? Any questions? Let's see. Earlier we were talking about beta or betta, however you prefer to say it, fish, and I'm just not an expert, so I wasn't able to help much. Anyone who sees this, and if you have any suggestions on videos, I know that I'll look it up when we're done, and I'll try to put a link in the description of a very good friend of mine who's on YouTube, who runs a channel and talks quite a bit about betta fish. Considered expert by me anyways. Maybe not, scientific expert, but very good with her videos and the information. So I'll try to link that when I'm done. But good luck, and definitely agree with the live plants in a betta tank. Let's see. I'm sorry that I missed Nintendo Switch's question. I'm not sure what you were at. Maybe you were asking what ozone is, and we've had a very good explanation by Edson. So now you know. And okay, Loyan. Okay, so the 7.5 dwarf tank that you're cycling is a cube. Very cool. We want to see it. Seahorse Whisperer Society has a Facebook page with a visitor section that you can actually post pictures. I would love to see what or come in next week and turn on your video camera and show us on, Wine Wednesday. I would love to see the tank and see what equipment you're hooking up and how you're setting up the small dwarf tank. I still have yet to set up a dwarf tank because of how much work it is. So now that Dan at Seahorse Source has petite, I like calling him petite. He gets so mad. He calls them dwarf erectus. I call them petite. But anyhow, now that he has dwarf erectus, I might be getting some smaller seahorses, but he still advises that 30-gallon minimum. So, I would love to see how you're setting up your actual dwarf tank, because I've always thought that a smaller tank like that would be so difficult. And we do have an article and another video that was made with help by Lucy and Dan, because they have kept dwarfs. So check those out if you need, but we'd love to see your setup. Okay, now I'm done rambling about that. And Nintendo Switch said, saltwater fish are scary. They're so expensive and beautiful, yet sound so fragile. They're not, though. And, everybody should, be aware of the fish that they're keeping and the fish's needs and make sure that they're catering to those needs. But as you saw, there are plenty of fish that people consider really difficult, like seahorses, that just aren't. It takes a dedicated tank. You have to want to keep them, and you have to be willing to do the feedings and etc. that they need and clean the tank right. But besides that, they're really not hard. If you take care of them properly, they're easy. Just the problems you see online are when people don't set up properly, or things do happen. I'm not saying anybody's wrong here, but when something happens, we're there to help. Everybody helps each other and we get through it. But there are a lot of good experiences that we never hear about because people usually share when they're having a problem. So anyways, my seahorses haven't had a problem in forever, and I've really slacked on maintenance. I'll say that much. Thank goodness for equipment, right? All right. Anyhow, but I do appreciate that people do. They are difficult. They are beautiful. Research, and you can do just about anything. Edson just showed that by using Matt Peterson's guidelines, he's keeping an orange spotted filefish. That's just so cool. So, okay, are tiny hermits okay in a dwarf tank? Oh gosh, it's a very tough question, Luann. I don't keep hermits at all with seahorses. I just have heard a couple of horror stories and have just never done it. I use snails and seahorse tanks. That's it. I don't use any crabs or anything else, just snails. I do know many people who say that hermits are fine in a seahorse tank. So I really think that that's going to be based on, your risk tolerance level. Many people say that they're fine. I don't keep them personally. Especially in a dwarf tank, I'm really going to say I wouldn't. Because with those tiny seahorses, I just wouldn't. So I don't think anybody's ever kept them in a dwarf tank, come to think of it. I was thinking big seahorses. Dwarf, I'm going to say no. All right, I'm just going to stop rambling and say don't do it. All right, and if you do, come back and tell us if it works out. That's terrible, isn't it? Sorry. All right. Okay, and let's see. I'm trying to look. I just lost my place. Do you have a job to help fund your hobby? Do I have a job? I have a job. I have a couple jobs actually, and I'm actually the thing that I'm doing currently is I'm taking courses to become a full stack developer. So it's going to be, like a year before I'm done, but I've learned quite a bit. Absolutely love it. I'm getting really deeply into React and React Native, and just absolutely love coding. So that's kind of what I've been doing a lot of, but that's not technically a job yet because I'm working towards the job. I'm a restaurant training specialist, actually. I work in a restaurant, believe it or not. I've had many jobs over the years. I do have a bachelor's degree, and I worked in marketing for many years, but when I had children, it was just easier. I wanted to, work the hours that I wanted to work, make money quick, and, be able to spend time with my kids and do my hobby. And the cool thing about restaurant work, it's nothing to, like I don't tell people, oh, cool, I work at a restaurant. But I can work when I want. I can go and pick up a shift, make money if I need it. If I want to go get a new, set up a new tank, I just pick up some shifts. So it's kind of cool. And I worked there part-time so long that I ended up a trainer, and now I am the, like I said, restaurant training specialist. I do the training for the store. So I even more can work the shifts that I want, and it's not hard, and that's what I do. So someday I'm gonna get back into the whole businesswoman career stuff, but I wanted to grow my kids up first, if you get my drift. And I do, this hobby is expensive. Agreed, you guys. Especially, when you set up multiple tanks like I have, like an idiot. But luckily I have a very kind significant other, love you, Sean, that is very, very kind and generous and lets me do my crazy tanks all over the house. So, get a good spouse. That's, I guess, my best advice. And a good job. All right, anyways, feather dusters. Luann, when I do look back on a couple of Wine Wednesdays ago and reach out to the person that was telling us about the vendor in Florida, I will link that. I promise as soon as I get done here, shut my trap, I will go and message him and try to get that information posted in the comments of this video. So check back. I'll try to put some sort of link to where we can get to that Florida vendor, because I just don't remember the name off the top of my head. But they do, the person that I'm thinking of has pretty much anything you could want. I know I'm gonna ask Jessica Stam, if you happen to see this, message me again that vendor that you're using. Actually, probably your company, right? I just realized that you're a company now. So yeah, I'll link some vendors once I get in touch with these people. I'll try to put them in the comments, guys, because love to see more macro tanks and those types of tanks going up. Very, very cool. And Reef Dude's making fun of me. And Loyanne, you sent a video. Cool. If you sent a video to me, I'm assuming. Can't wait to see it. If you don't mind, if you're not able to post it on the SWS page on Facebook, I will, if you allow it. Any of the videos that you guys send me, if you want them posted, I would be happy to share them, because that's what this is about, sharing. So, hey DM's Reef, long time no see. I'm getting ready to stop the stream, actually, but I've been rambling endlessly and I'm done. I don't feel good tonight. But if you want to jump in real quick, feel free. There's a link up there. If you don't in like 2 minutes, though, then I'll probably have to see you next week. But Loyanne, when you said, really quick, when you said you sent me a video, did you email it? Or I'm just curious how you sent it, because I didn't see it come through. Oh, I think I see you in my okay. Well, now my phone's updating or something, but I did see where you contacted me on Facebook. Thanks. I'll go look at it as soon as we're done. And yes, DM's Reef, we've missed you greatly. So glad to see you're still alive. Would love to know how you're doing, but I feel terrible tonight, so I'm getting ready to stop. But yeah, maybe next week. Can you come join us? I want to hear where you are, or message me or something. But I just, yeah. And Reef Dudes, you still want dwarfs one day? Hee hee. I can't wait for that day. And let's see. Sounds like a good excuse to have a glass of wine and relax and take it easy. Amen, brother. All right, guys, I am going to call it for tonight, but thank you so much for coming. Again, Ray, so sorry. I can only try to make it better by trying to, again, guys, if anybody wants to start the streams on nights that I can't, I can show you how. I can give you permission to do it. It's just, I know, nobody wants that responsibility. On the same note, please don't beat me up when I can't make it perfect, guys. I try. I really, really try. And I will do my best not to miss any more weeks, because I didn't realize how much you guys count on this, and it really made me feel good. So I'm going to stop rambling, call it, but I will be back next week. Even if I don't feel well, I'll be back and we will hear from DM's Reef, hopefully, and see how he's doing and maybe catch up with some other friends. But thank you all for coming. Thank you, Edson, very much for sharing all your valid information about ozone, and can't wait to see your spotted filefish. With that, I'm going to sip it. Happy Wine Wednesday, guys. See you next week. Cheers.